What's up, Foothills? This is our post-tournament live stream that we always do after each tournament on Tuesday nights, the Tuesday after each tournament. And tonight, I have with us Matt Hodge and Jacob Davis. And I'm going to pull these guys in. And, any questions you guys have, post them in the comments. And I've told these guys to share as much or as little information as they feel comfortable sharing. But post any questions in the comments, and we'll try to answer those. And then after the live stream tonight, we'll spin the wheel and give away our 2 free entries from Life Ring Ministries this year. We're coming back and giving away 2 free entries after each event for our members only. So stay tuned for that. And for some reason you're not on here and you win, I'll shoot you a text or a Facebook Messenger or whatever. But let's get right into it. I'm gonna pull Matt in here first. Matt Hodge is with us tonight, and second place from this past weekend, Jacob Davis is with us. We tried to get PC to come in, and he has to work in the evenings, so he wasn't able to come. But I appreciate both of these guys' willingness to come and jump on the live stream for a minute. And for a lot of times, some guys don't even like to do this. It's a little intimidating. Was for me at first too, but it's cool to get on here and just ask these guys about their day and see how they caught them when others didn't. And like I said, we share as much or as little information as they want to share with us tonight. But Jacob, you got good audio?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Matt, you there?
Yep, I'm here. You hear me?
Oh, yeah. So, like I said, post in the comments, guys, anything you want us to ask these guys. But we'll just start off with Matt and let him tell us a little bit about, maybe first off, Matt, just tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe when you started kayak fishing. We know some of the guys you fish with, but tell us a little bit about Matt Hodge and how long he's been fishing from plastic boat.
Well, I started kayak fishing. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Cody.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, I started kayak fishing. My first kayak was sit in kayak, and I started when it was 2000 and probably 12 around there.
Yeah, so 12 years ago, maybe.
And yes, and finally got to the kayak that I really want, the Hobie Outback, and fish. I fish a few trails, nationals and locals.
So you can remember back when you brought your phone or brought a camera back to the boat ramp. Were you fishing when the guys were doing that still?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We CKA was the first trail that we was doing that, taking pictures, and also Queen City.
Yeah, just with a
We
little
were
digital
the
camera.
Yeah, using cameras or just our phone, just snapshot and just bring it to the host and let them check the pictures.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you're a veteran then at this.
Probably not.
How
Feel
how
like I'm new to this now
how
again.
old, how old are you, Matt? I didn't even ask you that.
Uh, I'm 35.
35. Man, you've been fishing for quite a while, man. But at least competitively out of a kayak.
Well, I'll try to.
Yeah, well, guys seem to think highly of you. I know I talked to some of the CKA guys, Mr. Hank and some of those boys down there. They see you
Oh
sign up for
yeah.
the tournament and they're like, man, there's your winner. He's got a threat right here.
I know. I've heard
Hey,
that.
I'm not the
I've definitely
winner.
heard Hodge brothers.
Yeah, Jacob knows that Hodge name.
Yep.
So how many of them are? How many of you are there, Matt, that fish? I know PC, and I see Lee quite a bit fishing some of the motors.
And my youngest brother, he rarely fish.
All right.
Yeah,
What's
but we try to get him out too when he has his free time.
right on?
Nice.
What's his name?
Victor.
Victor. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always I always when I see PC, I seen PC sign up for the Queen City event, and I was like, oh, him and you, I was like, oh, there's your winners right there. How did PC do in the Queen City event? Did he cash a check then last weekend?
No, PC. He has to work.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yeah, he has to work, and he's off that weekend that you guys had that we had this tournament,
Yeah.
and my brother was supposed to go with him, but none of them was available, so he asked me. I was like, all right. I wasn't even planning on it too.
Yeah.
So we came out blind. Well, not real blind, but we just came out, decided to fish old histories, and just go on with that. That's it.
Yeah. The CCKF guys, their first tournament's next weekend on Sharon Harris, which
Oh,
is that's a pretty good ride for us.
yep.
Yeah, it's up in the Raleigh area, isn't it?
It is.
It's worth it.
I think so too. Me and Garrett went down there last year and fished with them in April, and I think we were a little behind. I think that lake was probably really good a month in March, but that's a cool place. No docks anywhere. I mean, it's
I was
all.
about to say, I thought I looked at it on Google Maps one day, just kind of looking around it, and there was not a single house on it.
There's no houses. I guess Duke Power just kind of owns all the property.
Yeah,
but there's lots of grass, and they keep a lot of the laydowns out of the water. Duke Power takes pretty good care of it, but it was a different kind of lake from what I'm used to fishing. But we had a good time. Didn't do great in the tournament, but it was a cool lake to go see.
Yeah, I believe Sharon Harris is like a lake that these bass are like stripers. They move in packs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you find these wolf packs, you're talking about 18 plus.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like wolf packs of largemouth, or is it or spotted bass?
Oh, it's all largemouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's a good wolf pack.
Yeah, like giants. Like you can catch like 4 or 5 20s in a day
Wow.
if you figure them out.
No, I know we go to Falls Lake. I can't remember what month it is, but is
in
Falls similar to Sharon Harris? I know it's in the same vicinity, but I don't know if it's like how many houses are on it or not.
I've never fished Falls. You ever fish Falls Lake, Matt?
Yeah, I fished a few times, but just like, very small areas. It's not like, and just like, just a couple of ramps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Falls does have some houses. I could be wrong there, but I know Jordan's sort of like Sharon Harris. There's not a whole lot of people and stuff on that lake. It's a huge area to fish. Sharon Harris, we were talking about it. There's only, I think there's 3 ramps. There's like a primitive ramp at Sharon Harris, and then 2 regular boat ramps. It's kind of a small body of water, but I thought about going down there next weekend myself, but I don't know, man. It's 2 hour ride. That's about the max for me. It's
Yeah.
it's probably like 2 hours and 50 minutes to get there.
Yeah, it's a good drive from
Sleep
here where we're at.
boat ramp. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. When me and Garrett went down there last year, we spent the night, and that made it not so bad. But that'd be a tough trip to
Yeah.
make in a day.
Yeah, especially 2 hours and 50 minutes. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's one way
yeah. I'm too
for a
old.
day trip.
Well, Matt, if you want to talk a little bit about your day on Saturday, Matt came in third this past weekend, and Matt ended up with 53 3/4 inches. Jacob had 54 and a half, so Matt was a little less than an inch behind Jacob. Matt caught an 18 1/4, a 17, and two 17 3/4 inch fish. And I believe they were all spotted bass. Let's see. You caught them
One
all day.
largemouth.
Was there one largemouth? All right.
Yeah, one largemouth.
Yeah, I see one of your pictures was taken at 7:30, and then one of your other keeper fish was taken at 2:42. So you caught them early and late.
Yeah.
But if you want to mention anything about how you caught them, or share.
Yes. Well, I started on my day. Just pretty much. Well, the water was pretty dirty where we're at,
Mm-hmm.
and we pretty much. I pretty much decided to just like crank all day. That was my plan
Yeah.
because the water's too dirty to even finesse. It'd be like a waste of time just to finesse in those
Yeah.
dirty water.
Throw a shaky head on there, yeah.
But I actually did it. Actually tried it once and actually caught like two or something
Uh-huh.
with the shaky head in that muddy water. And well, I started out with just throwing a chartreuse color Fritz size
Yeah.
crankbait, just working my way into little pockets and just cranking, slow cranking. And I caught two doing that. One was a largemouth, and one was a spotted bass, and they're both 17 inches.
Yeah.
And during the during like the afternoon when the sun was up, I decided to like actually hit some flats areas because they could probably move up. These muddy water, they warm up pretty quick. So I'm just trying out flats with lipless, and later during the day when it's about to be over with, I decided to go flip jig on docks to see if there's anything. And I caught my biggest one doing that. And I should have started earlier, but it was kind of late. I should have started flipping jigs around docks like during 12 o'clock, but I somehow didn't. So I ended the day just doing those stuff, just cranking and flipping jigs, and try to shake your head like for an hour and caught like some small ones, a couple small ones. And that
Yeah.
was about it.
Well, here's your 18 1/4. This is your biggest fish of the day.
Yeah,
And
that was the one that I flipped the jig.
yep. The time on that was like 2:42, I think is what it said. So that was
Nice.
right at the end of the tournament.
Yep.
And that's a pretty good fish. If you catch three of those, you usually, especially 3 fish limit, you catch 3 18s, you got a pretty good shot.
hmm I tried to find them. I tried to find them kickers, but I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, yeah. You had 3 solid fish though.
Yeah, for five fish, all of them are 17 and that 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bunch of 17s. Yeah, I had a 4 17. Yeah, but I couldn't find any kickers. All of them are just 18 or below.
Yeah, if you could have found a 20 incher, you'd have been up there with PC.
Yeah, but it is what it is, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's fishing.
Yeah, you had that guy. That was your biggest fish, and that one was caught, like I said, at 242. And
Yeah, last a few
then
minutes.
there was here's a 17 3/4. You can tell this guy's a little pale compared to the
Yeah,
other fish. Yeah.
a little
So,
bit inside those dirty water or something
mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah,
cold dirty water in the morning.
yeah. The little fish that I caught, um, all of them look like that. Look like they hadn't seen the sunlight in a month. And the water's dirty, and it was shoot, it was like barely 50 degrees where I put in at.
Mhm.
That's on a
Yeah,
Garmin.
where I fish at, it's 50 and a little bit over 50 to 52 right there. That's about it
Mm-hmm.
for the whole day. Yeah.
Here's your other fish. You caught this one at seven something in the morning. And yeah.
Yeah, that one was the one with the frit size crank. That was the first one, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the first one, the frit size.
I know. A lot of times, and it's conditions probably made you throw the crankbait, but we've had Austin. It's been the Austin Bang show, or it was last year, and
Oh yeah,
it was always finesse. You know, he's always fishing. But either he's
the shaky
I don't
head.
know, he could be telling a story there, but but he's always fishing the shaky head.
Hey, it works. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, it works.
well, and you know, I know he's picked that up from some of you guys too. He's even shouted out PC, talking about calling him Master PC and saying, he taught him everything he knew.
Yeah,
But
we fished for a while. Yeah, we fished for a while.
the definitely not a finesse, or it didn't seem like a finesse type day. Um, I couldn't hardly catch any fish. I think I had 5 bites and caught 3 fish, but you know, they were babies. But I caught one on a chatterbait, a little mini max chatterbait, and threw that forever. And then finally caught 2 more on a drop shot, and the water was like, maybe 2 foot visibility, but that's one of my confidence baits. And I was like, well, I can't catch them any other way. I might as well try to throw this drop shot around docks. And I was able to get a couple 13s to make a 40 couple inch limit. So better than not getting a limit, I guess. But I wasn't expecting Lake Norman to be that dirty. I don't know that I've ever seen the lake that dirty. I'm sure it has been, but I can't recall ever fishing Lake Norman and it being that dirty. I was kind of at a loss, sort of like it looked like Hickory. Garrett said he actually went to Hickory earlier last week, and that the water was clearer at Hickory than it was at Norman, and that's
Wow.
you don't see that very often at all.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just they started pulling the lake down and pulling water through. It hadn't rained. I mean, Hickory was stained for a month, and I guess they just finally pulled all that stain down into Norman. But well, Matt, we hope you come back out, man, and fish a couple more with us.
Oh yes, definitely. That was
We'll
my plan for this year. Try to fish as much with you guys too.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it. We'll be back at Hickory next month, and then Road Hiss and Lookout will be on that list, and then we'll hit Kerscott and James up. We'll fish those 2 lakes together in April. So, but the fishing should be starting to get pretty good here in the next 3 weeks or something. But well, Matt, we're going to flip over to Mr. Jacob here, let him talk to us for a little bit about his day. And Jacob came in second this past weekend, put $400 in his pocket.
Yeah, man.
Jacob had 54.5 inches, and Jacob had big fish for a while, for most of the day. And
Yeah, I think I saw John post something like 5 minutes to go. He called it. So, congrats to John. I mean, fish until the very end for sure.
Yeah, it says here in Tourney X, Jacob, you caught that 20-incher at 7:56.
Yeah, it was early morning. Yeah,
So all day you're like, all right.
yeah. I checked it a couple times. I'm not gonna lie, and then yeah. So I mean, I guess to back up, like I went to the upper part of Norman. Like if anybody knows me, I'm from Gastonia, so the closest ramp is Blythe or Ramsey. And I really wanted to fish down there, but with the BFL tournament going on, and I just knew the spots I like to fish on the south end, I just thought they'd be covered up. And so I decided to go up a little bit north and put in somewhere that I've put in at Stumpy's, and I've been there 2-3 times maybe. Kind of forget. I knew they had the $2 charge, and I'm not going to lie. On the way up there, I stopped at a gas station, and as I left, I had $1 bill, and I started looking for change in my truck. So I got $2. Yeah. And I could have sworn I had $2 in my wallet, but I only had one. And but got there, and like I said, I've only been there once or twice before, and once was in a John boat a couple years ago, and I just went one way and just decided I was going to fish where I thought the wind was going to be, and it wasn't really as windy as I know some guys fished the lower end, and it was pretty brutal with the wind, and
Yeah.
I feel like there was little patches of it where the wind got kind of a little haywire, but for the most part, it was pretty manageable.
Yeah.
And I was still trying to fish, wind blown banks and things like that, and but yeah, my whole thought process, because last year I fished with this group and it's a 3 fish limit. And so that kind of changed. This year I was like, all right, I'm gonna go in and fish for big fish. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna put a jig in my hand all day. And I'm so easy to go to a shaky hit. I'm so easy to be like, I ain't got a bite in 30 minutes, shaky hit. And so I told myself driving up, I was gonna put a jig in my hand and I was gonna fish it for as long as I could stand it.
Yeah.
And first bite, my first fish, I think it was like the 18-incher. I got around 7:10, 7 o'clock in the morning. So like right off the bat, you get confidence whenever when you go ahead and catch one. So I was like, okay. So I kept it in my hand, and I caught the other one, like you said, around, I forgot what it was, 9 or 10. I lose. Yeah, I'm like an idiot out there. I lose complete time while I'm out there. You could tell me I caught that at 7, and I said it was 11. Like I just
that 20 was at like almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. All right. So it's like a time warp when you're out there. Time just sucks into nothing out there. And but anyways, I kept the jig in my hand all day, man. I got those bites kind of shallow, and it was dirty. It was definitely dirty. Dirtier than I was anticipating it.
Yeah, me too.
So I had to change up some trailers, but I will say, because they're a sponsor of the club, I caught them on the Riots. What's the Minima jig, the tungsten Minima jig. Somebody was telling me about them, and I figured I'd give them a try. And I know Alex Van Dyke's been telling me they're real good, and so I gave them a try. And that was the first fish I caught on it, and I actually kept the same jig on all day. I just retied multiple times throughout the day and changed trailers.
Never lost it.
Never lost it. I had it hung up a couple squirrely times, but I ended up getting it out with my paddle, my kayak paddle, because I was skipping it under docks and skipping it everywhere I could. And a couple times how the waves will kind of go, you'll catch one on the up end and it'll go up under the dock and get kind of hung.
Oh yeah.
So I was stuck there with my paddle under one trying to get it unfished and ended up getting it back.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool little jig, compact,
So the picture that sold me was the picture they have online with the quarter next to it. And so when you think about it, you're like, man, that's a really tiny micro jig, or not micro, but finesse-ish kind of jig. And so I did that, and the little trailer has the Riot trailer that I think they call it the Tantrum, the one that goes real small. Kind of reminds me of like a Paca Crawl, I think, by Net Baits. But I mean, that's what I caught every fish on.
That's a super small jig setup, but still at a half ounce.
Yeah.
Kind of a little finessey, heavy jig.
Yeah.
Well, there's your 20. And like I said, you called it at almost 8 o'clock.
And I will tell you, man, these fish were like, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like they were pulling up because they weren't as dark as some other spotted bass I'm used to catching. But I could not keep their mouth shut. Like the 20 I caught, I must have on my phone, I must have had 20 different photos where I'm just like snapping, trying to push him up there, get his mouth shut, because he just wanted to every time just open it up.
Yeah, that's the couple fish I caught. They were doing the same thing.
Yeah,
I wasn't making them close their mouth. They had it wide open.
Yeah, and then whenever I tried to push him up, he just wanted to do that little bow and flop off. But I learned the net right there, man. I've lost some key fish in past tournaments. Yeah, so I'm in a Slayer Max, and it's not wide enough like a Hobie where you can fit the whole 26-inch catch board down in it. So you have to angle it, and the key to you have to put that net on the end because they'll just flop right off and sayonara.
I think so too. You kind of build a wall. I know that. Look, here's Matt with it on his lap, man. He's totally confident in himself.
I know it makes me nervous.
I see people doing that. John House, he's a big old dude. He'll have his board on his lap.
I looked at the fish that had big fish, and I saw he had it on his lap, and I'm just like, man, that could so easily. But he's a big dude. I'm sure he's got like a bear claw on that thing.
Yeah. Look at him here with that big old fish sitting on his lap. Yeah, dude, I've lost so many fish and just spun out because of it.
Yeah, it takes a toll on your mental.
Oh, it will. State. Even if it's 16-incher or something, you're just like, oh man, that's what's going to cost me right there.
That was like your fifth fish or your fourth or third, like just whatever, just depending on the day. Yeah.
But yeah, build that wall with the net.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I fished around Jacob all day, and I knew that we launched from the same ramp, and I kept seeing him on the leaderboard, and I was like, where is this guy at? And then finally, I don't know, it was probably 1 o'clock or something, I ran into you.
Yeah, I went out towards the main lake-ish part. In my mind, I thought I was going to go towards, what's it called, the little island in Perth Road, towards the bridge.
Yeah.
But I went towards the main-ish area, I guess you could say. Not really main lake, but, somewhat out there. But yeah, the water, there were some parts where the water was 6 inches visibility, and there were some that had 2 feet, all within that little Stumpy Creek area. Yeah, Stumpy,
you were talking about the wind and stuff. The wind was really perfect. Like it was blowing back in the Stumpy, and then I think it was like a northwest wind. But the wind was blowing back in the Stumpy, and we really picked Stumpy to be protected from the wind. If there's any place that's protected, if it's going to be windy, it's Stumpy Creek on Lake Norman.
Yeah.
Or Little Creek. Sometimes, you can find a couple little pockets in there and kind of hide for the day. But Stumpy Creek, I always like to go there if I know it's going to be sketch in other areas. But the wind held off for most of the day.
Yeah.
It didn't get horrible until later in the day.
Yeah, there's a couple times it was a little sketchy, whenever it got just right down the chute or whatever and came through. And then I wasn't anticipating, I guess, because, on any given Saturday, there's multiple club tournaments. And there was at least 2 that put out at Stumpy's, maybe 3. And so it was a pretty packed ramp. I wasn't anticipating that.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen Stumpy that many boats. The parking lot was full. It's kind of a small ramp anyway, but then after talking to other people, I think it was like that everywhere.
Yeah.
Queens, Pinnacle, I think all of them had a tournament coming out of them.
Yeah, it's getting that time where everybody's sick and tired of winter. Want to get on the water.
Oh, yeah. the BFL, and then people who didn't want to fish that, I'm sure little friend groups were like, "Hey, let's have us a little tournament together, boys." And I think that was going on at pretty much every ramp. I did talk to some people who launched at Little Creek, and I know there's nothing that came out of there, but maybe one of the only ramps there in the state park in Long Island, maybe. But yeah, it's that time of the year.
It was a tough day, though. I mean, I know we had a couple good fish, but overall, when you look at the BFL, was a 16 something took to win it, and
yeah,
that's not. I mean, it's been taking 20 plus, and
yeah, with the quality of fishermen that were fishing that tournament, you would have thought it would have been a 20 bag, to win it.
I think when you just have consecutive warming trends and then Saturday dumped, 12 degrees, yeah, I think it just kind of shuts them off a little bit, and you got to fish a certain way.
Yeah, I think the weather was looking perfect until like Friday of last week. It was temperature was 60 degrees a couple of days last week.
Yeah.
I did see John he said the big fish in the BFL was like 4.7.
Nice.
4.76 or something. So
yeah, I weighed that the 20-incher I had just because I was just curious what it weighed, and it was like 3.95, 3.98, so it was just under 4 pounds.
Yeah, that's a good fish.
Well, I was in the parking lot, the club tournaments at Stumpy's. Sometimes I'm just curious what won it and what, and then it was small. Like one won it with like a five limit, 9 pounds won it.
Really?
And yeah, and then another one, the big fish was like just over 4 pounds, is what they said.
So no great limits from what I could tell. Our little tournament, I think we had the most 50-inch limits. I think it stopped at 12th place. I think 12th place had 50 inches. And then it fell back to like 49 and some change. But I mean, last year, a 50-inch average, put you in the TOC.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it may take a little more than that. And I'm sure the inch limits will fall off a little bit as it gets into the warmer months. But
yeah,
a really good start for you, Jacob. 54, man. I mean, I
think that's my best so far, because I think I don't have it in front of me, but last year it was something like 51 or something was my best, like the most I did. But
yeah,
I only think I had 1 or 2 events over 50 inches, and but the other ones were high 40s. But
yeah,
and that's what kind of I guess in the off season, I guess you want to call it. I was sitting there thinking, and I want to be a better jig fisherman, and everybody wants to catch bigger fish.
Oh yeah.
And so I know I've been to a couple Queen City events where the Hodge brothers have won something, and then it's always on a jig or something that they say, shake your head a lot of times, but sometimes you'll hear a little jig here and there, and the bites are far and few in between, but when you get them, they're good.
Yeah. When you catch a jig fish, it's usually a good one.
Yeah. And I know when I saw you, it's everybody's little swan story or whatever, like it was, I don't know, 20 minutes to go. I was fishing the same dock that I caught my first one on this morning, coming around on that little secondary point. And I threw the jig up there two times on the non-shady side. And at that time, the sun's up, sun was peeking out a little bit. I went on the back side, threw it in on the shady side, and hooked into one, and I'm halfway reeling it in, and it throws it, and you can see the bull of it going in, and it would have culled a 16, I know for sure. But so that's kind of disheartening, losing something like that. But that's fishing.
Oh yeah. And you said that when I talked to you coming back to the ramp, you said that was the 4th bite, right?
Yeah. It was. I had 4 bites all day.
4 bites all day.
But all I threw was the jig all day.
Yeah, man, you were swinging for the fences then with that.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't say all day. There was a couple times I threw a crankbait for a few minutes, and it just didn't seem – my mindset was they're on the bottom for that particular day. And so once I got that – and when I say I threw that crankbait, that was at like 6:45, right when we were starting.
Yeah.
And then I switched it up, threw it shallow on that jig, and once I got that first one at 7 something, it was locked in the rest of the day.
Just for my curiosity, Jacob, what are you throwing that jig on? What kind of rod?
So I find it's one of my more expensive. I don't spend a lot of money on nice stuff, I guess, but like on fishing, I will every now and then. So it was last year when Red Crest was at Lake Norman. They had their expo. I was at the Fitzgerald booth, and they had great specials at the expo.
Yeah.
And it was the Brian Thrift skipping special. So it's a shorter rod, which helps us in a kayak. I think it's 610 heavy with a fast action tip, and it's a skipping special.
Yeah.
And man, you can really you can really skip it in tight places on that.
Yeah,
I had that, and I can't remember what pound test I had. I know it's K9 Fluoro I have on there. I think I actually downgraded to 7. No, it was either 14 or I think it was 14 pound. I think I changed it up the last minute to 14.
Yeah,
in my mind, I thought I needed to get it deeper, but
yeah, with the water clarity, I mean, you could probably put straight braid on there and been all right. But
yeah, I could have put 20 pound all day and been fine.
Yeah. I was fishing some brush piles, and I usually do that with like a spinning rod this past weekend. And, it's traditional sonar. So, I'm just finding them with cast.
Mm.
But I kept getting hung up, freaking breaking my leader off. And I got a good bite one time and just started reeling. I hadn't fished since November, really. I forgot to set the hook and lost the fish out of a brush pile. But then later on, I thought to myself, man, I need a jig rod or something to throw a bait caster into brush piles.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got a few little setups like that, but usually I'm rolling with 12 pound, fluorocarbon, but I need something where I can throw some 17 on it and, maybe a heavy action rod. But I was getting frustrated having to retie leaders in the wind.
Yeah.
I thought, man, I need something, even if it's not to throw a jig, if it's to throw a swim jig or bigger shaky head, just do it with something different than a spinning rod. But
yeah, this one being, so in a kayak, you're trying to, use multiple rods for multiple techniques a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And with it being 610 and heavy, even though that fast action tip is perfect for skipping. So I'll throw it with some on my mag draft and other things. But like, I don't know, I got a wild hair and try to start throwing in my mind. Last weekend I was like going to throw a buzz bait, but it was way too cold to throw a buzz bait. But
yeah,
so I'd packed that with that, and once I saw the water temp where I was at last weekend, I was like, keep that in the tackle.
Yeah, no need.
That's one of the downsides of not being able to pre-fish areas. You have to really go in completely blind. Like you don't know if the water temp's high 50s or 48.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's probably gotten down to like 46, something in that area, kind of where we were fishing at Saturday.
Yeah,
the temperatures probably came up a little, but it'll be rising here in the next month.
Yeah,
continuously, I would say.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for winter to get on out.
Mm-hmm. Hickory should be good. Usually, like the first week of April, when I fish hickory, there's always fish on bed. So that March date, March 23rd, that should definitely be real close to spawn. Maybe,
I'm curious if any of the I was listening to what was it, the Fishing Legends Live podcast that they do kind of locally here, and Scott Hamrick, who's he's a hammer on Lake Norman. He was saying that like he was in, there was bedding fish in Ramsey Creek. Yeah. So that's what, makes you want to, because of the hot water discharge and all that. And I was just curious. I'm sure they were around the dam, but I wonder how far out in Ramsey they were actually bedding.
Yeah, how far? I know I talked to anybody that fished further south, like Little Creek. I wonder what the water temperature was at like Little Creek, if it was, 55. Because down there at Ramsey, I know I've had people in different graphs will read different temperatures, but I've had people tell me, the water's already 65 degrees down here. And that's It's 15 degrees warmer.
I mean, it is. So, like, I mean, the closer, like, the hot hole will be 68, 70 degrees, right out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then if you catch a wind, like a west to east wind, that's just going to feed all of Ramsey with hot water.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to catching some shallow fish.
Yeah, I really wanted to double dip, in this one in the hardcore group too. That was at Ramsey, and I was disappointed I couldn't do both because I really wanted to do well in this one, and I knew I needed to get somewhere I wasn't going to have a lot of crowd around me. And
well, you done good. You picked the right areas of maybe the wrong ramp this weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, but I didn't have any boaters. The boaters I ran into were nice as could be, and they were few and far in between I ran into. Like, it wasn't, honestly, I didn't run into anybody.
No, there was some people running back and forth, but I didn't really have any trouble with anybody cutting me off either. And like you said, everybody that I did encounter, man, they were super friendly, which was kind of weird. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Usually some kind of, you get the squirrely eye in the little kayak. But
yeah. Well, hopefully they're just getting used to seeing them out there a little bit more, and it's, that we're here to stay,
Yeah, that's right. Well, here's the standings at the bottom for the top 10. And let's see. I know Garrett had a 50-inch bag, and he came in 11th. And I can't remember who was behind him. Might have been Lou, and he had a 50-inch bag. John had that 20.5-inch big fish. And the out of the money prize winners were Antoine Little and BG. Still hadn't been able to get a hold of Antoine. I'm going to have to call his personal cell phone number, I guess, and figure out a way to get him his cash and fishing rod. But
I'm sure he'll want it. Those are nice rods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, last year they give me just the Chattergrass stuff, which honestly, out of the CK lineup, that's probably my favorite rod. I think it's a 1/2 ounce to 1.5 ounces or something like that, but it's a really good versatile rod. But they give me some spinning rods and some cranking rods, and I got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I bought 2 of their the Element. I bought a casting multi-purpose and a spinning multi-purpose, and I think they're both medium. I think medium fast action is what they come in.
Yeah, the multi-purpose rod's pretty solid rod. You throw.
I feel like, and maybe it's just my own personal opinion, I feel like casting's a little stiffer than most. So to me, like, this is my own opinion, a medium casting is more like a medium heavy in a lot of other brands.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, but maybe not. But
yeah, it's kind of in between there. A medium, if you get the longer medium stuff, it's kind of maybe not quite as strong as a medium heavy, but it's stiffer than most medium rods, and it could be the carbon that they make them out of. But
yeah,
they make some good stuff. And BG, he got sending him an Aqua battery. I've talked to him. He's like, "Oh man, send me the battery. You can never have too many batteries."
That's right.
But so there's the top 10 at the bottom. Again, John House had the big fish that he caught in the last 15 minutes of the day. John said that fish weighed 5.1 ounces.
Nice.
You're out of the money prize winners, Antoine and BG. Next tournament is already live on Tourney X. Hickory, Lookout, and Roadhiss. And usually I post the tournaments. Like a lot of the clubs just make their whole tournament list, but I usually just post my tournaments. After we finish one, I'll post the next one. God forbid something would happen to me, but if something did, I don't want to have 15 tournaments across Tourney X, and there's nobody knows what to do with them or whatever. So I just post them as we go. But I did, and I'll just mention this while you guys are in here and a couple other dudes. The monthly series, that starts Friday. Friday's the first day of March. So I've got that tournament up too. and I posted the details of that in the group page. It's in the files tab now, kind of how we're going to do that. But I'm going to take the top 3 from the monthly series for the year, and we'll take 7 out of 8 events. So if you want to chase the TOC and the AOI on that side, you're pretty much going to have to, whoever is committed, 7 out of 8 events, you're pretty much going to have to fish every month to be able to make it happen on that side. And that stuff will start in March and it'll run through October. And then we'll take the top 3 from that, and won't do any roll downs because I kind of want to keep the TOC at the end of the year around the 20 person mark or less, honestly. But great start to the season. Matt, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right.
Just listening to you guys.
Great start to the season for you guys. Matt, you got anything you want to finish up with, or anybody you want to thank?
I just want to thank you and the sponsors for making this tournament happen for all of us, and just
Appreciate
want to
that.
congrats Jacob and the rest of the guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Awesome, man.
Mhm.
Jacob, you got anybody you want to thank, or here to wrap it up?
No, I guess sometimes my parents are watching my dog whenever I go fish.
There you go.
But no, just thank you and Ashley, and yeah, like you said, the sponsors for allowing this to happen.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for you guys fishing with us, and try to keep it rolling this year. But you guys can hang out if you want. We're gonna end it there, but I'm gonna spin this wheel. So if you guys want to hang out for a second,
All
or
right.
if you don't, you can drop out. But I appreciate both of you guys coming on tonight. Like I said, I a lot of people don't want to do this. A lot of people don't want to get on here, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it's just a lot of guys may not watch it, but if you're like me, I'll listen to podcasts and I'll listen to these other kayak groups' live stream at work or listening to it riding down the road or something. But it's just interesting to have this. And we always save this over on Garrett's YouTube channel, so it's here for in the rest of time. But it's just nice to get the winners on here and talk to them for a minute and pick their brain. But I appreciate you, Matt, and I appreciate you, Jacob, for your willingness to come on tonight.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Hope to see you guys again.
I hope to be on here again.
Yeah, dude. I'll pull up this wheel real quick. So currently we have, I think maybe you can see it up there in the top. It says entries. Currently we have 56 members that have signed up for the Foothills membership this year. And you can do the math on that. And we're adding $25 of the $30 membership back into the TOC at the end of the year. And with 56, I think that puts that somewhere around $1,400, something like that, just from the members fees back in the TOC. And then got about $1,500 from John House and another $1,500 from Trivets. So after event 1, the TOC at the end of the year is setting at like just say $4,500, which is pretty cool for our little kayak trail. I appreciate Trivets and John House and Bill giving us some extra cash. A lot of times when I contact sponsors and stuff, and I'm not a salesman, man. I mean, when I contact these guys, it's just like, what do you want to do? And, what are you comfortable with doing? But I appreciate John and Trivets willing to give us some monetary support and to be able to boost the payouts at the end of the year. That's what we like to fish for. We're here to compete, and it's fun, and I enjoy it. And time on the water is but it's nice to cash a check. It's nice to for it to pay its way. And Jacob, you almost paid for your whole season with this first win here in Foothills with $40 membership. So
I was thinking that on the drive home. I was like, man, I can fish for free the rest of the year.
That pays for the season. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And but 56 members already signed up last year. We had 65 for the whole year. And there were some guys that fished Murray this past weekend that weren't here that I'm sure will sign up. So, I anticipate us to be back around that 65 mark on the membership. People who bought into the membership. So pretty cool stuff. Just wanted to share that with you and try to keep everybody in the loop and on the up and up with everything. But so each year, started last year, Life Ring Ministries is a Christian's ministry. They're out of Gastonia, but they are just a ministry based on helping men, giving advice, just somebody to listen to you if you just need somebody to talk to. And like I said, they're based out of Gastonia, and they're fishermen. They're fishermen that are associated with the club. I've mentioned their names before, but they kind of like to remain anonymous too. But you guys probably have heard me mention who those individuals are. But I appreciate them coming alongside us and allowing us to give away these free memberships or these free entry fees to our members after each event. And after each event, we give away 2. And if you win one of these free entries, I pull you from the wheel, and then that way, we get to spread it around a little bit. So every how many events we have, 9 events this year, we should be able to give away 18 free entries. And it's a way to give back to you and incentivize the membership along with the out of money prizes. Usually nearly half the field gets, a nice return on their membership. But we'll go ahead and spin the wheel, and I'll let you guys get out of here. But I am going to shuffle the wheel, and we will spin it, and we'll see who our first winner of a free entry. You can use this anytime. Doesn't have to necessarily be the next event. Just next time you get to fish with us. We'll see who it's going to be. All right, is it going to be BG? Oh, Tim Sabella. BG got slow rolled on that one. So Tim will receive a free entry to an event of his choosing, and we'll pull him from the wheel here tonight. You can only win once, like I said, and we'll spin it again and see who our second free entry winner is tonight. Gonna be Lou. Oh, Lou got slow rolled on that one. It's dirty. Daniel Davis will be our second winner. So I'll contact those guys. Tim Sabella and Dan Davis. You got a free entry fee coming your way for being a member this year. But Jacob and Matt, I appreciate you guys for coming out, fishing with us, and coming on the live stream. And if you guys don't have anything else to say, we'll end it there.
Just thanks for having us.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you guys. We'll stop it there.